Good evening, everyone. It is 6:25 p.m. here in the Pacific Northwest on April 25th. That is Saturday, and I hope you are all having a fantastic day wherever in the world that you guys might be. Today is going to mark the conclusion to our equipment guide section for all of the pieces of equipment in Global. And today we're going to be taking a look at all of the accessories that are in Global. And there's only 3 of them right now that are not TMRs. But they are worth talking about, and in particular, we're going to be spending a lot of time talking about the Bravery Ring, also maybe known as the Hero's Ring, as anyone from Brave Exvius would remember. So the Hero's Ring, and rings in general, have an interesting property associated with them. Well, I guess Lethany is now following us. Oh, well, now you guys all know I record these in OBS. The interesting property about rings is that the rings themselves, some of the aspects of them, actually are leveled up based on level, not on the fact of it being +3, +4, +5, etc. So I'll give you an example here. The Bravery Ring has 2 different stats on it. It initially has a Bravery +5, and that +5 goes all the way to +20, based on your level. And then it also, once you get into the tiers of +1, +2, +3, +4, it has an evasion plus modifier on it. And that is the modifier that is raised whenever you +1, +2, +3, +4, +5 these rings. So why is this important? Well, it's possible for you to get the Bravery +20 without +5ing the ring. And I would say it's probably preferred to do that right now, just because we don't have the access to the resources. And I'm going to be very honest with you, I'm not sure if the evasion plus from the ring will stack with the evasion plus from other sources of your gear, because it's going to be so low. So there is that perspective of it as well, and that's for another video where we talk about matching different gears together once you start having TMRs on your team. But that Bravery +20 modifier is important, and we're going to come back to that because that's really important when we start looking at the damage formula. The 3 different forms of the Bravery Ring are going to be Aim, which is HP +61, Accuracy +7, Crit and Evasion +1. It's Critical, which is HP +70, Accuracy +3, Evasion +1, and Crit +6. And Vital, which is HP +88, Accuracy, Evasion, and Critical Hit +1. If I were out there right now and I were going to be putting on a Brave Ring, I would probably put on the Aim part, because that Aim +7 is valuable. There's not many other pieces of gear that have the Aim plus on it, and we are entering into an evasion meta. While the critical is good, there's other pieces of gear that add substantially more critical hit rate, and that critical hit rate is not going to stack with a weapon, right? So the weapon is usually going to have, like Golden Axe, for example, has +18 critical hit rate, and that critical hit rate is not going to stack with the Brave Ring. So you're going to want to have some other stat there that is going to help and assist with your character. So why am I making a big deal out of the Brave Ring and the Bravery damage? Well, we're going to talk a little bit about what Bravery does in terms of the damage formula for your character. So there's a whole bunch of different modifiers, and this is going to be a completely different video, you guys. We are going to be talking about the entire damage equation and what each sections of the damage equation do. But what you need to know right now is that all of your damage is essentially multiplied times your bravery. And the equation for that is 0.5 times your bravery out of 100. So for those of you that are already aware, you should be leveling up your bravery to 100 with meditation. And so you come to 0.5 times bravery 100 out of 100. Well, this bravery +5 to 20, we don't know which side of the equation this is on, right? It could be on the side of 120 out of 100, in which case this would be 120 divided by 100 would be a 1.2 modifier times 0.5 would be about a 0.6 modifier, right? Whereas if we did a +5 to 20 on the left side, it would be 0.7 times 100 over 100, which would end with a 0.7 modifier. So the modifier on the damage for Bravery with a Brave Ring maxed out is either going to be 10% more damage or 20% more damage. I'm going to lean on the side that it's probably the 10% more damage, but there's no way for us to know unless we conclusively test right now. So if any of you guys out there are conclusive testers and you like to do this type of testing, I would love to see this type of testing because there is no confirmed information out there on this. But either way, even at its minimum, Bravery Ring is going to be adding a multiplier of about 10% damage to your total damage that you would dish out. So overall, I would definitely recommend this. If any of you want to look a little bit more at the math, you can go to bravexvius.com, and Summoner BMW did a great breakdown on the different equations for the damage that your character receives and the damage that you deal to another character. And overall, this is very informative. It's very in-depth. It's going to take a minute to break apart and look at, so I would encourage you guys to do that. And I think it's very educational for you just to kind of get a perspective on what's important in this game and how there are many other stats that are more important than attack that can make you deal a lot more damage. Now, let's talk about the Rhinestone Ring. That's the only normal ring out there, with an HP of 34, Accuracy 2, Evasion 2, Defense 1, Spirit 1, Critical Hit 2, Poison Resistance 5 to 10 based on the level of the ring. Honestly, you guys, this ring is better than nothing, but I would not recommend this ring at all. If you're using this ring, you are desperate. There's probably better pieces of gear out there. If I see this ring equipped on any of you, I'll smack you. You get so much better out there than this ring. Drop this ring from your inventory. Get a hero's ring. Even a base hero's ring is better than that. Bravery Ring. Now, this ring's a little bit interesting. So, I found two of the types between my Discord. I wasn't able to find the final type. So the first type I found was Vital, which is HP plus 108, Defense, Spirit, Accuracy, Evasion, Critical Hit plus 1, and Aim, which is HP plus 75, Defense, Spirit, Crit, Evasion plus 1, and Accuracy plus 7. Again, you're going to notice that Accuracy plus 7 is the same as the Hero's Ring. And so my immediate reaction, right, is why would I use this over a maxed out Hero's Ring, which has that Evasion plus 7 in case I'm not wearing a piece of gear that has Evasion on it, and also has Accuracy plus 7 on its Aim build. So a little confused on this piece of gear, you guys. It does have a little bit more HP on its Vital form, and it also has Silence Resist plus 5 to 20 based on your level. I'm not sure why you would ever use this. I have bought the recipe, twice in fact, and once I actually sat down and started looking at the stats, you know, my mind is just going like, what the hell were you thinking, Doctor? Like, clearly this was not the right decision. So if you guys are out there, if you're seeing Hero's Ring in the shop, you should be buying it. Definitely the piece of accessory to invest in until the future. There is one more piece of gear, though, that I wanted to go over, and that's the Jeweled Ring. Now, the Jeweled Ring is not out in global yet, but I think it's really interesting to talk about because I think it is going to be potentially more viable than the Hero's Ring. The reason I say that is because it has its base stats posted on Ultima, which is HP plus 95, Accuracy plus 9, Evasion plus 1, Crit plus 2, Defense plus 1, Spirit plus 1, and then it has no types known for global yet, but that Accuracy plus 9, that base Accuracy plus 9 seems extremely powerful if you were going to be able to get an Aim type of ring for this. So I could see this being a very high accuracy ring, and if I'm guessing correct, I'm going to guess this is probably also going to give us Resist Paralyze. Just from the fact that in other games, Jeweled equipment has always given us Resist Paralyze. So that would be my thought, is that it's going to have Resist Paralyze on it. Again, I've been wrong in the past, and there's no information on Ultima as far as I can find. But that's going to be my best estimate right now. But for right now, you guys, we have that hero ring. You should be focusing on that hero ring. If you get an accessory TMR, we are going to start a TMR video on how you should build your characters if you have the different TMRs and what TMRs are good. Just know that once you start adding TMRs into your gear set, everything gets far more complicated. And there's far more factors to look at. And we're going to be making a separate video to go over all of that. Now, thank you guys so much for hanging out during this equipment series and getting to know everything that's in global. It's been quite the adventure for me, trying to find all of these pieces of gear and get all of their stats. I am not used to doing this type of work, but I kind of enjoyed it. It was a little bit of an adventure. Shout out to Trino from my Discord and Helperberry for being able to get me so much of their time and help in crafting junk equipment so that I could get these stats. I am very grateful to you guys, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your night, and I hope to see you guys on stream tonight. I'll be streaming from 8 p.m. to 1 a.m., so see you then, you guys. Have a good one.